is the frequency in use. All righty, this is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey with the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or prior to traffic? Very good. Not very good. I hope you don't have any emergency or prior to traffic, but if you do, you can call us, and we'll be happy to help in any way that we can. Your ideal situation, though, is if you have an emergency, is to call 911 first. We can depend upon the police in our communities, I think, but we can also help in other ways if you have another kind of emergency. Again, net may be broken at any time for an emergency. For information on this net, you can see us right now on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, which is under my call, Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. If you do a search in the search block under K4PEW, you will find the channel and click on that, and you'll see that we have a live, I think they call it a premiere, but I'm not sure why they call it a premiere. You can also see us on our website, 146415.net. 146415. It's our frequency minus the decimal point, and plus the dot NET. 146415.net. Or you can go to groups.io, groups.India Oscar, and that's where we have our email distribution site, which we have about 108, I think, people on there. You can just either sign up for it, or if you're not sure how to do that, you can just ask me to send you an invite to join, and we can do it that way. And last but not least, you can send me an email at k4pew@arrl.net. We meet every Wednesday and Saturday night at 8 p.m. with very few exceptions, and we're also on the air plenty during the day and during the week and on other nights. So it's one of the most active frequencies here in the Middle Tennessee that I'm aware of. There are some others that are active. We're not the only ones, but there are several people doing simplex nets and doing simplex. So we just think we're contributing to that in a big way. Purpose of the net is to have fun, to figure out who you can hear and who you can't hear. If you're on the YouTube channel, you can see that who I can hear, and you can hear who you can't hear in that way. Of course, you can also hear yourself and hear how you sound to me and technically to everybody else. We invite everyone to use the net to announce amateur radio events and activities, resources, and training in support of the city of Mount Juliet and the surrounding communities, which really extends all the way to Ashland City and all points east, north, south, and west, up to really the borders and beyond, up into Kentucky anyway. So we just have a lot of fun here, and events. The big event, lost my piece of paper. Oh, there it is. The Bowling Green net is tomorrow night, 146-430. It's at 7:30 p.m. That's the Bowling Green net, so you point your J-poles in that direction. 146.430, 7:30 p.m. And then at 8 p.m. we have, the Wilson County Amateur Club has a information net, and very, very casual, nice net, friendly, on 147.105, and that is a PL of 156.7, and of course a plus offset. I'll announce what the things are. Well, we also have the big announcement is the Simplexton. I'll call it a coffee, breakfast, donuts, whatever you want to bring, but we'll provide some coffee and donuts, and if you want to bring your own coffee, you can do that too. For Charlie Daniels Park, 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. 8 a.m. Saturday morning. You don't have to be there right at 8. You can be there at 7:30 if you want to. You can be there. We'll probably be there till 10, maybe 11, which often happens. This is the first breakfast we've had since either late April or early March. I forget which. Well, no, it'll be late March, maybe early March. Might have been February. I don't know. I have to look. I don't remember now. But anyway, everyone's welcome. Ham or not, if you're a scanner listener and you want to show up and learn a little bit about who we are and what we do and how we can help you get your license, all the better. But everyone's welcome. Family's welcome. Yeah, everybody's welcome. And I'll mention about the two things we're going to be doing tonight. This is net number, the two topics. Actually, it's kind of like 3. But this is June 10th, 2020, and this is the 595th net we've been doing, and we're starting from the west. Is there any other additions or things to talk about on the announcements? Got nothing. All right, that sounds like we're ready to proceed. We do the lightning round check-ins, which will give me your name, your call. Well, actually, your call first. Call, name, location. Please do that for the benefit of me and others on the net, so they get something to hear. Also to remind me who you are, because sometimes my memory isn't as good as it used to be, and number two, my memory is not as good as it used to be. So I think we'll just start then on June the 10th, our net tonight, and we're starting again from the west. So west, please come now. KN4TJF, got you in there. Just want to make sure you're breaking up a little there, Rick, but it's good to have you in. That's Rick in Ashland City, Kilo, November 4, Tango, Juliet, Foxtrot. One more time on the call to make sure it's something's going on. It might be bad conditions. Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit, but I got you. Good copy in there, Rick. Very good. Who else west? Please come now.
Number 4, Delta, Juliet, Tango, Don and Bon Aqua.
Very good. We got Don in Bon Aqua over there west of Nashville a ways. That's November 4, Delta, Juliet, Tango. And good to have you in there, Don. Who else? Are you running full power? Because the conditions are a little weak tonight for you.
Always on.
All right, well, you're doing fairly well, I should record those, figure out what's going on, but you're doing fine. In other words, full copy. Who else, West?
AM4YRS, Mike and Delta.
Yeah, you're not noisy. You need to add some noise in the background or something. That'll do. Very good. That's Michael. He's in Belshire. Kilo Mike 4, Yankee, Romeo, Foxtrot. Michael also, now besides checking in, he also does the 10-meter net on Sunday nights, which is 3 days from now. Who else? And that's at 7:30, by the way, on Sunday nights. And it's 7:30 on 28.415. Who else do we have, West?
W4EAC, Allen and Dawson on microwatt excitation.
How many microwatts you doing there, Alan?
Minus 142 dBm in reference to 50 ohms load.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad you clarified. That's Alan, and he's in Donaldson. Whiskey 4, Echo Alpha Charlie. A great signal, but easy. It's easy. You could do a microwatt and still get to me, I think. Good to have you in there, Alan. Who else? So West.
KG4, CXC, Chris and Dalton.
Very good. I got a double in there, but we had Chris in Donaldson, who's in a somewhat awkward position of not being able to have an outside antenna, so he's working from one very nice antenna inside the house. That's Kilo Golf 4 Charlie X-Ray Echo. Still looking for that Hughes 991A?
Yep.
He put a note on that thing there. He's trying to find somebody who wants to let go of their 991A. They're nice radios. I have one of those, and I like it a lot. Who else? And anyway, Kilo Golf 4 Charlie X-Ray Echo. Who else, West? Very good. We got November 5 Tango Alpha Whiskey, and that's David. And David, you're in Madison, right?
That's correct.
I got it right for me. It broke up just a little bit. Are you doing something different? Because it was a little staticky in there.
No, everything's the same as far as I know.
Okay, no, it was good on that transmission, so it might have been just something intermittent on my end. Very good. And then again, November 5, Tango Alpha Whiskey, and David in Madison. Good to have you in there, David. The signal is good, by the way. There just was a little glitch and something going on. Who else, West?
KG4 ILV, Jack and Donaldson.
All right, we got Jack and Donaldson. That's Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor. Good to have you in there, Jack. Good signal. Who else, West?
Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo, John in Bellevue.
Very good, John. We got John from Bellevue with a real strong signal there from Bellevue. Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. Who else is up next, West? No more West? I got all night. All right, we'll move around to the south then.
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Hey, Larry, good to have you in there. That's Larry in Rockville, Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor. Always a good signal out of Rockville. Good to have you in there, Larry. Who else is south?
Kilo Mike 4 November Yankee Bill Murfreesboro.
Bill, are you doing anything different? Your signal's a little scratchier than normal.
Everybody else listening tonight seems to be a little scratchy.
Okay, so then we've got some conditions around. I noticed that in the last day or so we've had a couple of issues with, well, today in particular, but yeah, yours is lower than, I mean, scratchier than, you're normally not scratchy. You're doing fine normally. Today was scratchy. Anyway, that's Bill in Murfreesboro, Kilo Mike 4, November Yankee. Who else is south?
Kilo Golf 4 November Tango Foxtrot Lag Murfreesboro.
Hey, Larry in Murfreesboro. Good to have you on the net again. That's Kilo Golf 4 November Tango Foxtrot. And I think this is the second time checking in, and he's anxious to pass his general test here sometime. And is that going to coming up soon there for you, Larry?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good. If you need any help, you know you can find it here. You did get on the mailing list, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Just want to make sure. Who else is south? Anybody else south? Got nothing. We'll go over to the east then.
Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India. James and Mount Juliet.
Very good, James. When are you going to move and put an outside antenna in?
Oh, when I get younger.
Yeah, we're going to go backwards here. Very good. Now, James has an excellent signal here in Mount Juliet. Oddly enough, with a nice indoor antenna, he gets out oftentimes down into Watertown, which is always kind of amazes me, and west down in Watertown. It's Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India, and it's James right here in the center of Mount Juliet. If there is such a thing, so Mount Juliet has a really odd shape to it. If you ever do a search on maps, just say City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Well, you don't have to put in Tennessee. There's only one Mount Juliet in the whole country. But just City of Mount Juliet, and look at the odd shape of the City of Mount Juliet. It's really, it looks like somebody who's drinking made up the map. Who else is east?
T4TWI West and Watertown.
Very good. That's Wes in Watertown. Pretty decent signal for an odd night on the air here. Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India. Yeah, right near, just a little bit north of Watertown. Who else east? I think your name must be scratchy. I can't hear it. Say that again. Oh boy, is anybody copying that?
I think it's KO4DDT here in Lebanon.
Well, I hope it's not DDT. That's illegal.
Come back with your call one more time, slowly, please.
Oh, I know who it is. It's Logan. He said he was coming on tonight, and that's Kilo Oscar 4. You were close. Kilo Oscar 4 Delta Victor Tango. And Logan's in Lebanon. I take it Logan's checking in with a handheld or a indoor antenna or both.
Logan, what are you talking about, bud? Motorola HD, well, hitting him at all from here on that is, you've done well.
I'd ask him to crawl up to the roof, but I don't think I want to do that tonight.
Are you inside the house or outside the house? Well, I don't know where you are as opposed to Maple Hill Road, but I've got a room full of you. You're doing well on me, but I'm real close. Oh, go ahead and check me in. KI4SIB and KI4SOR.
Yeah, very good. We got Logan, by the way, he's on his handheld, and I presume he probably needs a 50-watt rig or something like that rather than a handheld. But I appreciate him being in there. I'll have to look you up. If you haven't already, if your email is good on QRZ, I'll send you an invite to join the email list, or you can do that yourself by going to that groups groups.io and you can log in yourself. Sign into the request to be a member. We limit it to, well, whoever shows up is who we limit it to because we don't really have any rules. Anyway, that was Logan, Kilo Oscar 4 Delta Victor Tango, and he is in, I'm not sure where in Lebanon, but I'll look him up. Or somebody else look him up for me. Anyway, also had KI4SIB, who is Richard, and his wife Daphne in Well, she's the better half, I should say. And it's KI4SOR, correct, Richard?
Yes, sir, she is the better half.
Well, in my case, it wouldn't take much to be the better half. All right. Yeah, it was good to have another new member in there. Another new check-in. A member. Yeah, as a member, if you become on the mailing list, you're automatically a member. Yeah, no dues, no rules. It's like Steak and Shake. Insight, it must be right. Who else east? You're not using that beam, are you, Stan?
Yeah.
I don't know. You gotta creep up on that mic or do something because it seems like your signal needs to be bigger than that.
I think that tree is cutting down on the signal.
All right. No, you're doing. I can hear you. It's just that it's not. I would expect to have a nice, robust signal out of that really, really nice antenna you've got.
I think that tree attenuates that signal all the time.
Well, always. Well, you don't want to saw down the tree for that reason. And now you just need a 150-foot tower or something.
That would help.
All right. Very good. That was Stan. He's a little bit north of downtown Lebanon. Kilo Mike 4, Hotel Quebec Echo. Who else east?
Comment.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, Logan's address is Christia Lane, CHRISSA.
Yeah, that doesn't help me at all.
That's all I got.
What's it? Oh, it doesn't show it on the map?
Have a look at that.
Alrighty. Hey, I'm just curious just to find out where he was. I mean, I can often hear handhelds in Lebanon, but not obviously from everywhere. Depends if they're in a hole or behind a building or there's terrain between me and them. But who else is east?
He said he had a bunch of trees fall.
Bunch of trees. Well, we got a lot of trees in Middle Tennessee. That's not a poor excuse, isn't it? I got trees. The wind knocked one of the big ones down, so I should be much better to the northeast now.
He's close to I-40 and Walmart in Lebanon.
Okay, so it would be down south toward on Cumberland there, or off of Cumberland. Yeah, very good. Got it. Yeah, and if you need any assistance in what you need to figure out, what you need to do or get or whatever, don't hesitate to jump in there, Logan. We're all here to help you in some way. Who else east?
Juliet or DEZ or Earl and Noreen.
Yeah, hold on. Earl, KE4DEZ. Earl, I don't write it down, I'll forget. And I had Eddie in there, Whiskey 4, Echo, Bravo, X-Ray. You doing all right, Eddie?
Yeah, doing fairly well. Hope everybody else is. Been a nice day outside. A little bit boring, but I'm getting used to it.
Well, the traffic's picking up again, so it's not going to be so much boring after this. I think after June, it's going to really pick up the pace like it was before. Anyway, that's Eddie, Whiskey 4, Echo, Bravo, X-Ray, and he is in Gladeville. And Earl, who is down in Noreen, that's Kilo Echo 4, Delta Echo Zulu, just a little bit east of the Cedars of Lebanon State Park. Who else is east?
Kilo Oscar 4, Charlie Victor Uniform, Stephen, Lebanon.
All right, Stephen in Lebanon. That's Kilo Oscar 4, Charlie Victor Uniform. Signal's pretty good tonight, as usual. Did he have you in there, Stephen? Who else east?
KB4,
Very good, Tom. Are you new to the area?
I am. I'm sorry. I missed that.
No, you're good. That's Tom. He's over in Martha, over kind of toward Lebanon. And that's Kilo Bravo 4, Sierra Foxtrot, November, and he is off in net control for the very nice WC4AR information net on Thursday nights. I'm seeing him and Michael M4MEW. I seem to take turns on that net. Who else is, where was I? East, please come in. No more east. We'll go up to the north then. All right, Robert. So your signal's a little low, Robert. Are you doing anything different?
Oh, man, I think I had a frog in my throat.
All right. No, you just your audio is a little low. That's all. Hey, refresh my memory. Is it Kilo November or Kilo Mike?
Kilo November.
Well, I wrote it down right, so I guess I heard it right, and my robotic fingers just wrote it down correctly. But anyway, that's Robert, and he's in Goodlettsville, and that's Kilo November 4, Kilo X-Ray Alpha. Who else north?
KD8RRO.
Hey, very good. Good to have you in there. I think your name in a second. Hold on. Oh man, you're gonna drive me crazy. Give me your name again. I just drew a blank. Kilo Delta 8, Romeo Oscar. One more time on the name and location. It's LaGuardo. I know that.
Yeah, this Kirby up here in Lagardo.
Yeah, Kirby. Your name just didn't come to my mind. I know we've met at least a year ago. Maybe it was last year, but it's a unique name. I don't know if anybody. I don't think I know anybody else who had the name Kirby. It's just a neat name. Unique, I should say. Anyway, that's Kilo Delta 8 Romeo Oscar. He used to live about a quarter mile to my west, but his home was destroyed in that tornado here in Triple Crown, which is just west of me about a quarter mile. And now he lives in LaGuardo. And I'm glad everybody's okay. And I can see why you moved, though, when your house disappears. And it was moved over, by the way, if you guys hadn't heard. This was the house that showed up on TV. He was interviewed, and he was telling the interviewer that his house moved over 17 feet because of that storm. So got a relocated house, and you didn't have to pay any extra for that. But of course, the house was unlivable at that point. Who else? Good to have you in there, Kirby. I'm glad you and your family are all right. And again, Kilo Delta 8 Romeo Oscar. I think I'm getting the name. LaGuardo. That's LaGuardo. Who else? 8 North.
WB0NOO, Mark in Northwest Louisville.
Very good, Mark. Good to have you in there, up there by the Weather Bureau. That's Whiskey Bravo 0, November Oscar. That's a good signal. Who else north?
KC9 ETS, Paul, North Mount Juliet.
Very good, Paul. It's the other better half of Mount Juliet with Paul. Kilo Charlie 9, Echo Charlie Sierra. Good signal. Who else north?
Echo Tango Sierra.
You know, what did I say? I've got it written down as Echo Tango Sierra. Whatever. What is it? Charlie?
I thought I heard Charlie in there.
You may have. You may have. Getting old here, man. You got to cut me some slack. Anyway, that's Kilo Charlie 9, Echo Tango Sierra. Now that is correct, isn't it?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I thought maybe I threw in an extra. The Charlie in the front wasn't supposed to be there. All right, because I don't keep a running. I keep a tab here, but I don't. It's not additive to an existing list. Try to keep myself on my toes. I'd be cheating all the time, looking up calls. I think. Anyway, who else north?
Get you too much slack, you lose your elevation.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Earl. Who else is north? I didn't get any copy on that. I heard a lot of static. Is anybody copying that? Nothing. You can check in on the YouTube thing. That'd be great. I don't know what to say. Just try it one more. Hold on. Let me increase the volume just a little bit. No, not helpful at all. You sure you're on frequency on 415? Because it seems a little distorted, besides unreadable.
K4 WKU.
Bill, is that you? I take it's Bill, K4WKU. No, I got nothing.
He was in there. Yeah, he's in there faint, Paul. I've got like 2 S units on him.
Yeah, that must be. I wonder if he's mobile because I can't hear him at all. I mean, I just hear a little bit breaking my swell. But anyway, that's Bill, and he's normally in Possum Town, north of north of Lebanon. But I could barely read him tonight. Normally, he has a reasonably good signal. Who else said north? That sounds like Steve's voice up in Bowling Green. Is that you, Steve?
Yeah,
All righty, WKU up in Bowling Green, Steve. Whiskey 4, is it Kilo 4 WKU. I think I'd have that straight all the time, but not to be. Who else is, anybody else north? Any other late check-ins from north, south, east, or west?
Apparently I missed the southern round, K4IDC. November from the south.
All right. I got Robin in there first. K4IDC. Good to have you in there, Robin. Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie. Yeah, you did miss yourself. And thinking you can beat the system. And who was the other? Was that David I heard in Reedyville?
Hey, Robin, hang tight. The Antifa net is next. Indiana and Readable Lake, right here.
Oh, man. You must be running like, you got an amp now or what?
Negative. After I got scolded last time, I got it on high power.
Scolded? I told you we don't have any rules, but if you got a weak signal, that's what I'm going to tell you.
Oh, well, I took it as going. Anyway, I'm kidding. So I'm down on over that.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. I'm trying to remember your call. I forgot it. Kilo India 4. I forgot the rest of it.
Well, Indian. Like Navajo code talkers.
That's not helping me. KI4 what?
Indian.
Oh, there you go. Indian. I couldn't think what that was. That's terrible. David is in Reedyville, and that's Kilo India 4 November Delta November. I had another brain freeze in there. But he's been instrumental in the Rutherford County Simplex net for the Aries group in Rutherford County. So he's been a big additive to the Simplex community in Rutherford. Who else? Anybody else late check-ins?
Kilo 4 Oscar Foxtrot Oscar.
Hey, I'm glad you're still around, Donnie. You didn't have to leave?
I've got to be out here no later than 25th of June.
25th. Well, good to have you around. I hope everything's going well for your family.
Well, we're hanging in there right now. Is tonight swap night?
What's today? Wednesday. No, we can make it. If you got something you need to talk about, we can do it. I mean, you got something. We're not, again, we don't have any rules.
Yeah, I may have a couple things after you get through checking in and everything, if you don't mind. I'll let you get back to it. Appreciate you taking my check-in.
Yeah, no, we don't mind at all. Like I said, there's no real rules other than FCC rules. We can have a FCC. We can have an FCC net. Yeah, we can have. If somebody's got something to buy or sell, they're welcome to jump in there. We don't even get that much activity on buy, sell, swap, and swindle nights on Saturday night. So you're welcome to jump in. Any other late chicken?
Kilo 4 Uniform Tango Sierra Carl Glabeville.
Ah, very good, Carl. Good to have you in there again. Carl's in Glabeville. Kilo 4 Uniform Tango Sierra. Anybody else late?
Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee.
Oh boy, you were like AWOL or something, Eddie. You doing all right?
You got some static in there. You talking to Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee Ed?
Yes, I'm talking to Ed. Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee. You've been a little AWOL for a few nets, but we missed you.
Well, yes, sir. Yeah. I've had some other obligations I needed to attend to, but I got in here this evening and I wanted to say hello.
Very good. I hope you and your wife are doing well. And Ed's down in Shake Bragg near Shelbyville. Because a good signal coming in here. It's a little staticky tonight, though. It's still strong signal, but a little noisier than normal. Usually has a great signal. Eddie, were you on your beam or your vertical?
I'm on the beam tonight. I got my vertical unplugged for the storms the other night and had to put it back in. But I'm on the beam. Should be pretty close to you there.
Oh yeah, no, you're doing great. You're pushing up on S4 here on my little scale, but it's good audio. It just seemed to be a little noisier than I remembered it last time. Anyway, anybody else late check-in?
Kilo November 4 Victor Tango Hotel. Tom in Rockville, if you hear me.
Hold on, Tom. What was that previous call? Tom in Rockville is TM. It's TM. It's 4 TM. Is it November? Whiskey 4 Tango November? Tom? Well, Tom's signal is really breaking up today. Yeah, that was Tom in Rockville. And I had, I think it was Kilo November for Victor Tango Hotel. Is that correct?
Copy that. Yes, that's correct. It's Mike.
Ah, very good, Mike. Mike, where are you located?
I am on the backside Antioch, not far from Hobson Pike.
Ah, okay. Mike, not too far from Antioch, on the other side of Hobson Pike. Kilo November for Victor Tango Hotel. And we had Tom in Rockville. And I think it's called as Whiskey 4 Tango November, but I'm not sure of that at the moment. And his signal was horrible. What was going on? Is Tom still there? His power supply failed or something, because he's got a nice antenna, and he normally gets in here from Rockville very well. Larry, are you copying Tom at all?
Copying who, Tom?
Yeah, were you copying Tom's signal?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what? He dropped out on me. I don't know why, though.
Yeah, he's got a weird setup. I don't understand that you're coming in good down here, and everybody's noisy tonight.
Yeah, I know that. I noticed that there was a little bit of, just where signals weren't as good that used to be great. Very good. And Tom's call. Give me Tom's call again. I don't have it in front of me. Is it Whiskey 4 Tango November?
Talking about KM, 4TL, Tom, and Rockville.
Is it KN, Kilo November?
Kilo Mike, 4 Tom, Mike.
Ah, very good. Yeah, I screwed that up. But it's Kilo Mike 4 Tango November, and that's Tom, and he's in Rockville. Signal's a little wacky tonight. So several of them were a little wacky. Anybody else late chickens?
AO4 CNB mobile.
One more time on the mobile station.
Kilo Oscar 4 Charlie India Victor. I'm mobile in Laverne.
All righty. Kilo Oscar 4 Charlie. It's India Victor, correct? And what was the first name?
Jason here.
Yeah, very good, Jason. That was Kilo Oscar 4 Charlie India Victor. Jason, he's in mobile in Laverne. A good signal for a mobile station, I'm sure. To me, anyway, under these kind of awkward conditions. Anybody else late chicken? One more time on that station. It was a little weak, and I had a double in there by accident. Who else is it? Who is that? Who is that station that just checked in? All right, that was Greg in Antioch, and that's Kilo Oscar for Charlie Victor Echo. Good to have you in there, Greg. Anybody else late chicken? Nobody else. Wow, that was a stellar beginning anyway with 37 check-ins. And I'll jump right into it, but don't be afraid if there's a check-in that needs to be checked in. Just bust in there and tell me you're there, and tell everybody you're there. But yeah, we generally hover around in the 30s now, and up into the 30s and often into the mid 30s with the number of check-ins, and it doesn't seem so stupendous anymore. But when I did an interview with Bob Heil on his radio show, his internet radio show, we were doing 12, and that was two years ago this past March. I did an interview with him in March, and I told him that our average number of check-ins was 12, which meant sometimes it was 17, sometimes it was 8, sometimes it was 9, sometimes it was 10, and we were thinking that 12 was a pretty good number. Well, here we are at 30-something most of the weeks, and it's just astounding to me that we get such a good participation by everyone, and it just means there's a lot of people interested in Simplex. It's not me they're interested in, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I was hoping we could do two things, or maybe two or three, just give us a couple opportunities to talk about some things. If people had a mentor, I'd like to hear about it. And if you need a mentor, I'd like to hear about it. And maybe we can put two people together. If you're having difficulties with figuring out how to operate a radio, or how to do things, or you need help with, taking a general test, or you need help getting up to the extra test, or just setting up the radio because you've never had one before. So that's one of the things. And if you, like I said, if you have one, or you had one, or you need one, some people have a mentor that they had from, from early days, where they really, like as a kid, somebody took them under their wing and taught them all they knew about ham radio. But anyway, the other thing is, I was hoping we might be able to talk about just a little bit if you've operated differently under these conditions where you're in the house more. Have you changed the operating practices, and have you gotten somewhere doing that with this, I say lockdown? It's not really a lockdown, but I've spent a lot more time on the radio and getting on HF than I had been in the recent past, just simply because I've been kind of reluctant to go out. So anyway, let's just talk about that for a minute. Mentors, we didn't always be called mentors. I'm using that term illegally because the one in ham radio is, what do they call them in ham radio?
Elmer.
Yeah, the Elmers. Don't hear anybody named Elmer anymore, but that's what they are, as Elmers. That name escaped me for the moment. But I didn't have an Elmer. I just had a bunch of friends and who helped me get through the confusion of early days in 15 years ago when I got into ham radio, and made a lot of mistakes. But that's part of the game. Anyway, Elmers. Does anybody had a Elmer that was instrumental in them becoming a ham?
If you were lucky, his last name ended in Fudd.
That's right, Elmer Fudd. Anyway, I would like to hear about that, because if there's people who need someone to help them through, I mean, the email system we have is a good way to ask questions and so get people together, and need me to do it because I'm not necessarily the guy to help somebody, but there's lots of people on the net that are way more experienced than me.
Right.
Yeah, it was a breaker station.
Yeah, it's K4, so I have to give my credit to Tom Parker. He's one of the greatest there ever was and still is, and is willing and able to help anybody out there. And I don't know anybody that's more knowledgeable and very good at explaining things. And I say that with utmost confidence. Tom Parker is one of the greatest. At the KB4 SFN, if any of you have ever had a chance to talk to him, he is super.
Tom, you want to respond to that remark?
I would if I'd heard it.
Oh, you didn't hear? He was Donnie was bragging on your Elmering abilities and explaining and helping him get on the air.
Well, he didn't get much help. Boy, didn't was got a bad experience there. But I did help him. I'm glad of it. I was going to say that Sam Shields was a good Elmer for a lot of people. Sam passed away a few years ago, but I wish I knew what Sam had forgotten over the years. He was a tremendous guy, and he helped a lot of people. If you need to know something, Sam was a guy to ask.
Yeah, well, I think that some of that, from what I have seen and heard, a lot of the great Elmers were those guys that grew up on building radio systems, building their own radios in the golden age of ham radio after World War II. And those were the guys that, well, they pretty much knew everything.
Sam had a friend who needed a HF radio, and he didn't have the resources to get one. So Sam made him one. He took all his parts he had and made one for him.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Was it more than one band? I mean, it was a crystal radio at that time?
It's more than that. It's 40 meters. Receive, transmit, the whole thing. Scrap part.
Yeah, well, those are kind of the good old days, I guess. Now you'd say, have you got a motherboard handy, That's a good story there, Tom. Tom's been around this area for most of his life, and except for times when he wasn't. But that would be, you have always lived here, haven't you, in Wilson County?
That's right. Born and raised here, from the big city of Watertown.
Yeah, Tom was the one when we were talking one day in the air. I said, it must have been a big deal growing up in Watertown in the late 40s, early 50s to go into Nashville, because that would be the big city. He goes, Nashville? He goes, it was a big deal to go into Lebanon.
Yes, it was.
Anyway, yeah, where I grew up in my hometown, it was a big deal to go to Buffalo, New York, because it was a big city and second largest city in New York State. Anyway, any other comments about Elmering or mentoring or getting technical help or exam help, and I think I'd throw in at this point, if you need to take the general exam or even a technician exam, if you're listening or if you know somebody, I can do the remote testing through the Anchorage Amateur Radio Club. I am a volunteer examiner, which is qualified under their VEC, the volunteer examiner. What does VEC stand for? Volunteer Exam Committee? Chair? I don't know, whatever it is. And I'm the VE. I'm a VE for them, and the only one I know of here in Middle Tennessee. I think there's another one. He's farther east. But if you need to take an exam and you want to do it, I can come to your place. You can come to mine, or we can meet somewhere. But we can do a test that way, and it's all legal.
I got a couple of guys need to check in.
All right, go ahead with check-ins.
They just text me. Jerry and Barbara. Jerry is KG4WXU. He resigns over at South Nashville near Harding I-24. They are presently enjoying their camping activities out at Priest Lake. The second one is Randy Bean, Kilowatt Tango 4 Tango November down in Franklin. He is presently changing out from one location to another, moving back into his new home, which he only got burnt down. So they called in and texted me and said, check them out.
Oh, yeah, not very good on the home burning down, but good to have him in. Who is Whiskey? Is it Whiskey Golf 4 Whiskey X-Ray Uniform? I wrote it down kind of fast. Alan, the first one. Is that Whiskey Golf 4 Whiskey X-Ray Oscar or uniform?
No, that's Jerry with a 2x3. Kilowatt Germany 4 Whiskey X-Ray Uniform.
Okay, very good. Kilo Golf 4 Whiskey X-Ray Uniform and Kilo Tango 4 Tango November. Randy and the other fellow was which one? What was the WXU? What was his first name?
Jerry, and the second one was Randy. KT4TN Kilowatt Tango 4 Tango November in Franklin, Williamson County.
Yeah, very good. Good to have them both in there. Whiskey Golf 4 Whiskey X-Ray Uniform, or Kilo Golf 4, excuse me, Whiskey X-Ray Uniform. So I got a mess here on what I wrote down, but the other one is Randy Kilo Tango 4 Tango November. Anyway, as far as Elmer's, like I said, in testing, we can do that locally here. I don't know when the next testing sessions are for some of the big testing groups here, but if you're in a hurry, I can accommodate you. Any other discussions about the Elmering?
Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot. These are guys that were very instrumental before even I had thought about going to school or college, but have them look up Bill or William Orr. That's Oscar Romeo Romeo. Bill was very instrumental in writing several books and worked with the first Oscar satellite. He was instrumental in getting it launched through NASA way back in the heydays. But Bill Orr has written several articles. You can find him, and he was very instrumental at one of the main tube companies, which is now owned and operated by Richardson Electronics. We all know them as IMAC. And the second one I would recommend is Doug DeMall. Doug is a silent key as well. He was in charge one time of the complete lab and doing all the reports, as well as working in the private sector. And his call is W1 Fox Bravo. That is now assigned to a club there in his old hometown, I believe, up in Connecticut. So William Moore is very good. If you want to do some reading, also check out Doug DeMall. You can find some of his articles and listings and transcripts courtesy of the ARRL. And that was very good for me back even 40-something years ago when I got started. So I'm sure it's still good today.
Yeah, so you should be able to do a search within the ARRL database for the QST and stuff, you mean, for that kind of stuff, for either of those guys?
Well, you can probably find most of it on the internet for free. To have access to some of that documentation and findings, you have to be a member of the league.
Oh, right. I'm with you. I just figured if you were a member, but that was Doug DeMall. Is that D-E-M what? How's that last name spelled?
D-E-M-A-W, I believe. And I believe that's French.
Doug DeMall, D-E-M-A-W. Look that up on the web. Instrumental in good ham radio practices and writing articles, as well as William Orr, O-R-R. Also, he did a lot of stuff early on with some excellent, according to Alan, anyway, and I'm sure that's correct. And you can look up both of those guys on the web for some pertinent information. Any other Elmer info?
KM4YRF.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead.
When I first decided, when I retired and I decided I was going to get my license, I studied online, and I was really, really looking for a place to take my test, and somebody got me in touch with Jack Cox over in Williamson County, and he found me a place to take the technician's test, and he got me signed up in a class over in Williamson County for my general, and they also did a seminar that next year for the extra, and he got got a friend of his donated me my first radio, and he is just a great guy. He would do anything for anybody at any time. So just want to give a big shout out to Jack Cox.
How does he spell his last name?
C-O-X.
Oh, Cox. Okay. We didn't know if you were saying like K-O-C-H. I wasn't positive about that. Well, very good. And he's still down there in Williamson County?
Oh, yeah. It's K4OTB, as he's called.
So he's an off-track betting guy?
No, it's KA4OTB.
Yeah, no, OTB, man, off-track betting. Very good. Jack Cox down in Franklin County, KA4. I don't know if we need to pile up on these guys for mentoring and Elmering opportunities, but I'm glad we're bringing them out into the woodwork, giving them some accolades. Any other Elmering discussions?
KG4CXE.
Hold on, we had Chris was in there first. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so I'll share my story. I think I've probably told you at one point in time, and anyone else that was listening at that time. But so there was a guy up the road named Bill Alderman, W4VUF. He's a silent key now, and I was already into CB and was just kind of dipping a toe into the internet and dial-up modems and stuff like that. And when I ran into Bill, he was doing packet. He had a BBS running. Had awesome HF radios, a beam, with a rotor, and we would just hang out in the shack. And this was a guy that was on my wavelength because of not only the RF, but he was also into computers too. So I listened to him talk all over the world on the HF stuff, and eventually he gave me a little Radio Shack key that I was practicing with, and never really got that nailed down. It just wasn't my thing. CW, I appreciate what it's done and how it's been used and how it can be used, but so I go after the technician. I finally get it, and yeah, that's it in a nutshell. It was really cool to have someone, just happen to be a neighbor, and that was really neat. I don't know how many people he did it with. He's actually he was a member of the Nashville Amateur Radio Club, so I kind of go and check in on their net to kind of say thank you to Bill for introducing me to any of this stuff. So yeah, I wanted to also say I bought a little handheld, which was a little 2-meter job. I think it was probably a Yaesu at the time. That's probably why I'm a Yaesu guy now still. And he helped me build a J-pole. So we went and bought the copper, from just the plumbing stuff. And he had a torch, and we used some solder and put it together and set the SWR on it. That J-pole is actually still sitting outside my parents' house.
Cool. Yeah, it is fun. The early parts of any of this part of the hobby is interesting. It's almost nostalgic when you realize what you were doing at the front end, and it seems pretty rudimentary, I think, when you look back.
Yeah, but it was awesome just to have someone, at my age, to find someone who was quite a bit older than me, and we were literally lockstep. That was cool. So he didn't really push me to get the test, but I think it was because of his interest in it and what he was able to show me. I was like, wow, this is a whole different thing with radio, and I was already interested in radio. So it just he showed me a path I'd never seen.
Yeah, well, again, CBs can be a lot of fun, and it's really, in a lot of ways, it's entry level, because going from CB to, even though there's 19 channels, 19? No, there's more than 19. How many channels are there? 42?
You got me. I started off with a 3-channel. This was where you could buy the little crystals and select between the 3 of them. And there was a guy in the neighborhood, again, who I heard on one of those channels, and that's where the CB took off. So that little 3-channel, HD, basically from Radio Shack down the road, that's, started that journey. And of course, radio was always there because I was interested in it before. That's why I bought the HD in the first place. But.
Oh, yeah. No, it's funny how radio is attractive to so many people, especially maybe more so to technical people, but it's still attractive. I have a cousin who, he's not in ham radio, but he has the fondest recollections of listening to the shortwave when he was a kid out on the farm. Anyway, that was Chris. He was talking about how good it is to have somebody who is kind of in lockstep with your line of thinking and which direction they head. And he was in the same business, the same trade, I'll say, same area of expertise. And so it helps. But it opened up a whole world, like ham radio is, a whole world of opportunities for technical stuff as well as getting on the air in all kinds of places, in all kinds of ways. Anybody else before we move on? We're going to do 10 meters tonight, by the way.
Well, late check-in. It's crazy. Got done mowing lawn. Can you hear me?
Hold on. I had Tim in there first. KR4AZ in Murfreesboro. Good to have you in there, Tim. No, of course, late check-ins are more than well. Was that Charles I heard in there too?
USL.
Ah, very good. We had Charles, KG4 Sierra Foxtrot, and he is in Smyrna and a decent signal tonight, better than that handheld over there in Hermitage. And we had Tim, of course, in Murfreesboro, Kilo Romeo for Alpha Zoo. Good to have you in there, Tim. That was 41 tonight. Wow, that's quite a night. I don't think we've hit over 40 in a little while. Any other comments on operating practices? Have you increased the just quickly said, we've only got a few minutes left. I don't want to drag out the net too long, but any other major changes to operating practices where you've learned something new because you have more time in the shack during this COVID-19 mess?
I'm actually in Old Hickory back in Hermitage on the HT. Just W4 Echo Alpha Charlie.
Yeah, hold on now. Okay, Charles, now I got you. So you are in Old Hickory. I was going to say that I remember your signal from Smyrna being better, but you're on the conditions must be good from Old Hickory on the HC. I appreciate it, Charles. Thanks for checking in. Say again, Alan.
I just want to pass on some beta testing I did today on a hot water and a sugar Bravo for all you heat kit connoisseurs. V13, which is an IF amplifier and buffer on that transceiver, changed the grid leak resistor R316 from 10K to 15K at 5%. No further.
Okay. Is everybody writing that down? All righty. Any other comments on anything before we? It's the final comments, I guess. If you got something that's. Oh yeah, Don, did you have something you wanted to sell?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm gonna walk you. That's all I've got. I'm not gonna be able to do 10 meters. I've got a 1481 tram 2-meter 70 antenna, brand new. I used it one time at field day. It's 17 foot tall, and it's got an 8 dB gain on 2 meters, 11 dB gain on 70 meter. I've got a MFJ 941 Versa tuner, manual tuner, and I've got a Yaesu 2200, just VHF only, and I've got the manual for that. Also got the manual for the Versa tuner, MFJ, and that's it. And if anybody's interested, I'll give my number or whatever, and they can call me, and I'll be hopefully back on there Saturday night if I can.
You're understating that trams, I think, an 8.3 dBi gain, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 8.3. I'm using the 1480, which is a 6-point, and I'm just on a walkie-talkie, and I hope I'm getting out pretty well. But when I had my 50 water hooked up, I was hearing Steve up at Bowling Green, and I even talked to him once.
Yeah, you're doing 50 over what you got right now. Anyway, for those who might not be able to hear Donnie in K4OFO. If you're interested, let us know right now. We'll get you his number. But he's got a Tram 1481. It's just been lightly, in fact, very lightly used. Vertical, it's got 8.3 dBi gain, and it's also good for 70 centimeters on 11 point something gain. And a 941 manual tuner from MFJ, old standard there. And also a Yaesu, I think it's an FT2200, a 2-meter only radio, just 2 meters only. Be a nice rig for a vehicle or wherever. If you don't have a 2-meter radio, but if you're listening or you're talking, you certainly don't need a 2-meter radio. But anyway, a Yaesu FT2200. If you're interested, let me know now. We just probably need to put that up on the list as well, Don, on the reflector there. Donnie, we'll put it up on the mailing list.
You mentioned it tonight, but I mean they're here. If I get rid of them, fine. If I don't, I just like to see them be in good use instead of being stored.
Oh yeah, no, we'll put it out on the mailing list tonight.
Okay, and Alan, I got that manual for you. You need to give me a call.
All righty, it's 8:55. I appreciate all the input, and I think we had some okay discussions. I don't know if I like them, but it doesn't mean everybody else does. But again, having essentially 41 check-ins tonight, which is outrageously good. I think it's fantastic. It's hard to believe we have that many. I'm going to move over to the 10-meter net unless anybody has any late check-ins. All right, enough said. We're going to go over to 10 meters. That's 28.415, 28.415, upper sideband. I'm vertical, but normally we can hear you even if you're horizontal, unless you got really poor whatever getting out. But let's give it a try. We're going over to 10 meters, 28.415. And appreciate everybody who checked in tonight on 2 meters. K4PEW QSY over to 28.415.
Hey, Paul, KE4TWR real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a QSO on 415, just to let you know. That the guy's pretty strong to me. I'm not sure where he is.
28.415, the audacity of him.
Yeah, I just want to let you know. I've been listening, but I'm not sure where he is. KE4TWR.
Well, we'll give it a try, and let's do this. If for some reason he doesn't want to move, we'll definitely move over to 28.430. All right. Hey, check 430, bro. Can you see that real quick? Take it. He's looking.
I don't hear anything on 430, so that could be an option.
All right. If we have any trouble on 415, we'll go to 430. This is K4PEW. 415, and if not, 430.
I'll do a picture to you and next year, I'll scan it out of the book and send it to you. But wait till you see the size of this thing. Oh my God! But that's why I just have an 8 meter.
All right. We went to the 430, 28.430. Michael, if you are there, somebody's there, go over to 2 meters and announce that it's on 430, 28.430. I didn't want to butt in. It looked like they were having a regular conversation there. Anybody copying me there? Yeah, I just need somebody to go on 2 meters to make that announcement if they would that we're on 430. Anyway, this is the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net on an alternate frequency, 28.430, looking for check-ins. And again, we'll be starting from the west. Please come now. Nothing from the west yet. Okay, from the south, please come now. I got nothing. From the east, please come now. All right, I got KB4SFN, and also we have KE4TWI. Who else? South or east? Very good, Earl. Got you in there. Who else? South or east? Anybody south or east or north? Please come in.
Charlie 9 Echo Tango Sierra, Paul.
Very good, Paul. Got you in there. And there was another station in there too, I think, doubling.
Hey, Paul, are you on 430?
Yes.
I thought we were supposed to be at 415.
Yeah, I know, but we went to 430 because 415 was busy.
Okay, I'll be back.
That's what we needed to do on the announcement. If you'd announce on 2 meters, that'd be great.
I will.
All right, we're going east. Boy, you don't want to change the order of appearances here. We get all messed up. Who else? East, west, south, or east? Oh, I didn't get a good copy on that one. All right. From the north, then, please. All right. Anybody, any place, anywhere, please come in.
KD4ILV.
All right. KD4ILV. Very good. I got you in there. Why does that sound wrong when you're telling me that? It's not Kilo Delta 4, India Lima Victor?
Kilo Golf 4, India Lima Victor, Jack and Donaldson.
Yeah, you'd think I'd remember that from 30 minutes ago, wouldn't you? Kilo Golf 4, India Lima Victor. And that's Jack. Anyway, who else? Any other check-ins? Please come in.
WB0LO4,
I believe I heard Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo, and I believe I heard Stan. Stan, was that you in there?
Yeah,
Okay, hold on, John. I had Stan in there, Kilo Golf 4, Hotel Quebec Echo. And John, which John is that?
W4AWD.
Oh, yeah, no, I got you in there, John. I didn't know if you heard me. Very good. That's John, Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. Who else? Check in, please.
KM4YRF.
Very good. Real strong signal there. Michael. Who else? Any place?
W4 Echo Alpha Charlie.
Very good. All right, very good. We got you in there. Alan, Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo Alpha Charlie, excuse me. That's Whiskey 4 Echo Alpha Charlie. Who else is next? Any other late check-ins on the 10-meter net?
WB0LO. Did you get me in there, Paul?
WB0NO. Oh, yeah, I did get you in there, Mark. I'm sorry.
Oh, with someone else in there, too.
Yeah, I did hear somebody else. Was that Richard? Who was that?
Yeah, Dave, out there back Bravo 0 Whiskey Yacht Uniform. Bravo 0 Whiskey Yacht Uniform.
Kilowatt Bravo 0 Golf. I'm sorry. Whiskey Golf Uniform. I can't read my own writing again. And that is, the name on that one is the Whiskey Golf Uniform. Say that again on the Whiskey Golf Uniform. Very good, Dave. Got you in there. Yeah, I'm just, I'm getting confused, and my hearing isn't very good on this radio, on this frequency tonight. It's a little sloppy. But anyway, that was Dave. And Dave, you are where? Boy, that signal dropped right out there. Kilo Bravo 0 Whiskey Golf Uniform. Of course, I can look them up. Is there any other check-ins?
Southwest Minnesota.
Oh, wow. No wonder. I didn't copy that at all. It faded so quickly. I didn't know what happened. Kilo Bravo 0 Whiskey Golf Uniform in Minnesota. MN. Very good. Good place to be from in the summer, anyway. Dave, appreciate you being there if you can still hear me. Kilo Bravo 0 Whiskey Golf Uniform. Any other check-ins, please come in. Well, very good. Then I'll start from what I think is the bottom. I'm running out of list here, but we had Dave in Minnesota, Kilo Bravo 0 Whiskey Golf Uniform. Who says 10 meters wasn't open? And we had Whiskey 4 Echo Alpha Charlie. We had Alan in Donaldson. Good, great signal, by the way. And Michael, Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot in Belshire, and Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Quebec Echo Stan in Lebanon. Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo in Bellevue, and Whiskey Bravo 0 November Oscar, and that's Mark in Northwest Wilson. And then Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor Jack and Donaldson, and Kilo Charlie 9 Echo Tango Sierra, that's Paul, of course, in here in Mount Juliet, the other Paul. Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu, which is Earl in Noreen over there by the Cedars of Lebanon. And then Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India West down near Watertown. Kilo Bravo 4 Sierra Foxtrot November, and that is Tom over in Martha. And Kilo actually lives in Martha. He's not in Martha. And Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey here, Paul and Mount Juliet. And I didn't count them, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like we had 12 check-ins on 10 meters. Appreciate everybody checking in. Any other check-ins?
Additional.
Yeah, go ahead.
I go ahead and check in again. Jerry, KG4WXU. There's Randy, KT4TN. There's Carl Elkins, AI4P. Ed Langford, W4HHY. I'll break off because I don't want to put you to sleep. Over.
Oh, yeah, W4HHY and Kilo Tango 4 Tango November. And we got Kilo Golf 4. Was that Whiskey? What was that? Kilo Golf 4-1.
KG4WXU.
Ah, yeah, there we go. There you go. I got it. And that brings it, I think, to 13. So that's really, really terrific. Those are the guys out camping, swimming, fishing. Is that what they're doing?
Out there at Priest Lake doing some freshwater activity. Also check in another amateur who just texted me in reference to some equipment that I'm working on. So check in Scott up in Ohio. That's Whiskey 8 Sugar Kilo.
Ah, very good. Whiskey 8 Sugar Kilo Scott in Ohio. A virtual check-in on texting, which since we have no rules, you can do that. But we don't want too much of that. We'd rather have him on the radio if he could swing his beam in our direction. Any other comments before we move on? I do hear somebody else in there. Anybody copying that?
I think that was KO4CVU.
Ah, KO4CVU, and that's Steven, is it not? Ah, yeah, very low signal. I can hear you, but it's very almost like you're talking through a straw. It's a very, very narrow, tiny signal. All right, I'm not understanding you real well there, Steve, but I'm glad you were able to check in, and good to have you in there. And that's Steve KO for Kilo Oscar for Charlie Victory uniform. Anybody else before we move on? Well, very good. Thanks for all the participation. I think that's 14 with Steve in there, and good to have everybody in there. And I hope you can be here for tomorrow night on the Bowling Green Net, as well as the Whiskey Charlie 4 Alpha, Whiskey Charlie Wilson County. So it's Wilson Charlie Wilson County Romeo Amateur Radio Club with their net on 147. I'll get it right here in a minute. 147. 105 and a 156.7, and then Sunday night with the 10-meter net again at 7:30 and not 8. 7:30 on 10 meters, and hopefully it'll be on 146. I mean on 28.415 rather than this alternate frequency. And Glenn, I was amazed everybody made it over here. So K4PEW, have a good night.
W4 Echo Alpha Charlie.